The report, which was commissioned by Jayaprakash Associates, warned of a possible fault line in the tunnel, stretches where the possibility of collapse is high. I think anyone would understand this, but I want you to decode this for our viewers. Professor Kumar, over to you.
Thank you very much. It's what I can say at this stage, because the kind of efforts which are going for the rescue operations, had it been taken care of well in advance, probably that would have been avoided. But what it gets neglected, and we face the consequences. The important thing is that in any kind of a standard operational procedure, which we go for the tunneling, we have to see that what are the fault lines, what are the monitoring measures, where are the kind of exit which we are planning, where are the areas which we can think of in case of any emergency, the evacuation route, and how many exit routes are there, where the air passage would be there. All these are planned in the DPR itself. And many a times, this is a very old, as I said in the very first kind of a discussion also, that it has to be monitored well at almost on a kind of a regular basis. I don't say that four
Ignored?
years is a good time
Sir, were the
to, yeah.
warnings ignored according to you, Professor Saab?
Exactly what I say, that such kind of a monitoring should be part and parcel of any of the technical work which is being taken by any of the agencies in whether India or abroad. And not only this kind of a tunnel, but many tunnels have been created across the globe. All the safety measures have been adhered to. So the first and foremost thing in such difficult kind of area where you cannot have a easy passage, even if that security measures should be much more stringent. If
All
you
right.
have laid down principle one or two kind of a pattern, whether you have four
Okay.
pattern for this.
All right. Major General Rawat, sir, you think
Good evening. Yeah.
warnings were ignored? It's a major faux pas. Do you think this could have been avoided, Major General?
You see, ever since the Silkyara tunnel, I have been talking about this only. You have to be very, very clear and sure about the designs for which that feasibility study, which we have been discussing. And now it is very clear, with that Tiger Reserve thing and which you are saying, they were not allowed to drill bores in the this thing area to collect that data for calculating the overburden.
Yeah.
So my thing, which I have been telling you time and again, that we cannot do a shortcut, and we are, I think, most of the construction agencies, they do take a shortcut to cut costs, which is, I think, a very, very wrong thing. We should have some kind of authorities, like I think when the NHAI started constructing roads here during the Atal government, the first Atal government, when it came in, there were monitors, monitoring committee which was there. They used to go there, check on the road as to whether they were doing it as per the laid down SOPs. So accordingly, when you're constructing such kind of constructions and all which are important, which are difficult to do it, and in such areas, we should have some kind of a monitoring agencies over this
Yeah.
construction and all agencies, which
Absolutely.
should do a timely kind of a thing and check whether
Yeah.
they are going as per the.
Yeah, I don't understand why did JP Associates. I mean, of course, the investigations, they are not. Let me add, I'm not saying they are guilty, not at all. But according to this Indian Express report, if, as I understand it, if a report has been submitted, given to any organization to say these are the hurdles, impediments that we see, the potholes as it were, I think one needs to take enough precautions. I mean, otherwise we won't have a kind of a tragedy unfolding in front of our eyes. Family members of all those 8 workers who are trapped inside the tunnel have been waiting for days, sending up prayers. That's all my contention is. And also, let me ask you one other question, Major General Rawat sir. The thing is that
Yeah.
the report also found a decrease in rock strength in this stretch and highlighted that the stretch was a water bearing zone. Now, all this while, we've seen that water retention that they talk about, water bearing, that has been a major challenge, Major General.
So that is why you do the coring. You take out the cores to find if there is any water body in the entire terrain. And this has happened in the Atal tunnel also, where I don't know whether you are aware. Last time also I said there is a Seri Nala which is just crossing about 0.5 to 1 kilometer above the tunnel, and through this rock, fishes which have appeared over the years. There's a discharge of about 700 cubic meters of water which is coming into the tunnel per hour. While they have taken some kind of a precaution now to put pipes and divert the water, but that's not the solution. You can't, the water will take away the fines, dhire dhire,
Yeah,
and
yes, sir.
tomorrow again something may happen. So that is why I have been emphasizing and harping again and again that feasibility study of the rocks which you have to take out,
All
because when you
right.
do that at every 50, 100 meters, you'll find out whether they're water bodies or not.
Yes, sir.
And that would have been
Yeah.
found out. And in this case,
Yes, sir. Okay.
there is a study which has been given in 2020. They should have been more cautious, and they
Exactly,
should
and
have
that's what
taken all
I'm
the
going to ask.
precautions.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to ask SS Guleria, former DIG, National Disaster Response Force. Mr. Guleria, thank you so much. We were waiting for you. Thank God you, came in just now. I was going to run out of time. I want to ask you, sir, have you seen the Indian Express report? And, where a report was submitted in 2020 and which warned of all the pitfalls, as it were, but then still we see this tragedy unfolding in front of our eyes. Let me read one quote to you, Mr. Guleria. The remarks in the report read, decrease in rock stiffness, possible jointed sheared rock mass and possible water bearing zone, which I asked General Rawat as well. What is your opening comment on this, Mr. Guleria? So many points I think have been, indicators have been ignored, sir.
Yeah, it is very right. The 5 years back, this report was given, and despite this report, this unfortunate tragic incident has taken place. And one can easily make out, that why this failure has taken place, despite having these alerts, these warnings, and the report in detail. Surely, it is because of the laxity of regulation oversight. Because if there is a weak enforcement of safety regulations and standards, then such kind of incident does take place. The project sometimes,
Who's
what happens,
answerable, Mr. Guleria? Who's answerable
uh,
for the 8 men
uh,
trapped there? कौन
yes,
जवाब
yeah, I
देगा?
must say, all the regulatory bodies, who were supposed to take care of the safety regulations, they are to be blamed for this.
Right.
And that's what I would like to say. Sometimes what happens, when adequate inspection procedures are not adopted when this drilling was going on. So that is the cause. The
Right.
cost cutting measures are generally, the reasons that these safety regulations are
Yeah, but
compromised.
Professor Kumar, I'm sorry, Mr. Guleria, मैंने आपको बीच में टोका,
Yeah,
but
it's okay, madam.
the thing is, I want to ask Professor Kumar, like Mr. Guleria says that shortcut, we are trying to save money, we are paying for it. But in this, a report was submitted, sir, Professor Kumar. It wasn't as if no one did that. Now, did they work on all the warnings or red flags? That, of course, they did not. It's very, very clear. But money must have been spent because it was a joint thing, Jayaprakash Associate plus another agency. Also, if they were warned that the ground is something which is water bearing, one geologist has said very clear that the rocks remain the same. There are, of course, more chances of seepage.
Yes, I also did mention in the previous discussion which we had that the geophysical environment changes very fast. Also is then when, especially when we have the tunneling and other things also. So if we are doing such kind of a thing, we should be very, very vigilant on the what are the reports are coming and go for the compliance. So this is one. But across the globe, which we have seen, that such kind of thing, the safety measures is the top priority for any tunnel which we are in a very inaccessible area and all. Whether you talk about Switzerland, you talk about that Malaysia, or you talk about Japan, you will find, and I'm not talking about USA and UK and all, but even the smallest of the areas and with the countries which we are going into this, the safety measures and also constant monitoring where the failures are coming. Even if it is a small seepage, the warning will come. And whether that monitoring mechanism was placed there or not, even if smallest of the kind of a slightest change in the water level or the this kind of a silt is coming, that warning will come. If the slides are there, the warning will come.
All right,
So all
okay.
these measures have been adopted across the globe. So why the report which was there 4 years ago, much of the this compliance would have taken. See that
Absolutely.
all national
Okay.
federal forces are there. Talk about NGRI, talk about NDRF, you talk about any
All right.
Navy and Army, all are there putting all their efforts, even
Yeah,
dog squad,
absolutely. The
everything.
rat
But
miners. Day in and
Right,
day
but
out.
right,
Yeah,
but
yeah. The way they are
Vietnam has kind of a
unrelentingly
response is
working.
going.
Absolutely
So
right, Professor.
had it been smallest of the safety measures and the monitoring measures would have taken, probably we would have avoided such
That's
kind
what
of
I'm saying.
incidents.
We keep talking about, that let's not kind of regret. Let's just take all precautions. But again and again, we witness the same thing. Major General Rawat, I want to ask you, when the report says that there is a decrease in rock